Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Every morning, before the world demands a piece of you, before the noise, the emails, the obligations, before your name is called by anything outside yourself, you must declare war, not on the world, but on your own mediocrity. Because the man or woman you were yesterday cannot walk into the destiny waiting for you today. You say you want success. You say you want freedom. You say you want to be great. But what are you willing to do before the sun rises, before anyone sees, before applause or validation arrive? Napoleon Hill once wrote, "You become what you think about." But let me ask you this. What are you thinking about when the world is still asleep? What are you repeating to yourself before your mind is hijacked by fear, comparison, and distraction? Most people wake up reacting. Champions wake up declaring. Most people rise to survive. But the few, the rare few, they rise to design. You must command your morning, or your morning will command you. And so, I dare you, say this to yourself, not as empty affirmation, not as surface-level hype, but as a weapon, a ritual, a blueprint to tear through your limitations. Breathe in deep and say it. I am the architect of my mind, the master of my fate. My thoughts are tools, not tormentors. My words are power, not whispers. And today, I will speak life into my future. You do not wait for clarity, you create it. You do not wait for motivation, you summon it. Do you know how Carnegie began each morning? He visualized his empire before a single brick was laid. He would whisper to himself, "All riches begin with a state of mind. I am already rich in belief." And so he became rich in reality. Edison, before the first filament glowed, believed. Ford, before the first car rolled off the line, believed. Walt Disney, bankrupt and ridiculed, believed. Not in magic, not in luck, but in the unbreakable law that says, what the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But belief alone is not enough. Your belief must move your bones. It must grip your soul until action is the only option. This is the faith Hill spoke of. Not blind religion, but fire-forged conviction. Say this every morning. I do not negotiate with fear. I do not make peace with doubt. I do not entertain failure as my identity. Obstacles are not walls, they are invitations. Delays are not denials, they are discipline in disguise. Because let's be honest, you will face resistance, and the resistance isn't outside you. It's inside your own habits. Discipline is the gatekeeper of destiny. Discipline is doing what must be done, even when comfort seduces you with sweet lies. There will be days when motivation doesn't knock. There will be mornings when everything feels heavier than usual. But champions don't wait for the storm to pass. They train in the rain. They build in the dark. You see, success doesn't respond to wishes. It responds to persistence, to clarity, to organized thought backed by unwavering purpose. Say this: I move with clarity. I am not busy. I am focused. I do not scatter my energy. I channel it. Every step I take is toward the life I was designed to live. Because drifting is the disease of the modern man. Too many float. Too many react. Too many scroll their lives away. But you are not most people. You've chosen the narrow path, the road carved by effort and faith. And on that path, there is no space for passive living. There is only deliberate creation. Say this: I do not wait for permission. I do not seek approval. I give myself the authority to build, to rise, to become. This is the mindset of visionaries. This is what drove Lincoln through loss, what drove Mandela through prison, what drove Oprah through rejection. Vision. They saw what others couldn't. And more importantly, they said it aloud until it was louder than doubt, clearer than fear, and stronger than excuses. Do you understand the power of what you say before the world opens its mouth? Your words are seeds. What you speak in the morning, you water throughout the day. So speak like a warrior. Speak like a builder. Speak like someone who knows. This day, this sacred morning, is not just a repeat of yesterday. It's a doorway. And your words are the key. Say this: I was not born to be average. I was not designed for silence. I was not placed here to drift. I am here to build, to serve, to rise, to transform. Because every great empire began not with concrete and steel, but with an internal revolution, a choice, a moment of sacred defiance against smallness. And that moment happens each morning, before your feet touch the floor, before your past tries to pull you back. You must say, I release what no longer serves me. I let go of the weights that weakened me. I step forward as the version of myself that my future requires. Let it echo, let it burn, let it wake something ancient in your bones. Because this is not just about success, it's about identity, it's about integrity, it's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't need alarms to rise because their vision shakes them awake. Say this: my purpose is louder than my pain. My vision is greater than my vice. I am not who I was, and I will not return to my old cage, no matter how familiar it feels. Freedom is not found in a bank account. It's found in the fire of intention. It's found in the courage to do what most avoid, to think, to feel, to speak with power, to act with purpose. So when others hit snooze, you rise. When others question the point, you declare it. Say this: my time is sacred. My focus is power. My voice is truth. I do not follow noise. I create signal. I do not follow the crowd. I follow conviction. Because this world will try to dilute you, to distract you, to pull you into a million shallow streams. But you must be the river that carves through stone, not with force, but with consistency. Say this: I will be consistent, even when no one claps, even when no one sees, even when progress feels like a whisper. Because the oak tree grows in silence. The roots do not scream for recognition, they anchor deeper, in faith. So must you. There is no instant greatness, no overnight mastery, only those who return again and again to their craft, to their calling, to the fire inside. You want to change your life? Then say this every morning with conviction: I am the result of what I do daily, not what I do occasionally. Excellence is not an act. It is my identity. Let the world sleepwalk in mediocrity. You've chosen to wake up with purpose, to face yourself in the mirror and say, no more waiting, no more excuses. Today is mine, and I will not waste it. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. It's about refusing to betray the version of yourself you keep seeing in your dreams. You owe that version everything. So say this: I act today in alignment with the person I am becoming. I don't shrink to fit my past. I stretch into my future. I show up now, not because it's easy, but because I am committed to greatness. The world doesn't hand power to the hesitant. It honors the bold, the ones who move despite fear, the ones who fail publicly and rise privately, the ones who do the hard thing when no one is watching. Hill called this definiteness of purpose. It's the rare fire that separates the few who lead from the many who follow. So ask yourself, have you declared your purpose today? If not, do it now. I am a vessel of purpose. I do not drift. I drive. I do not chase. I attract through clarity. I know who I am, and I know where I'm going. That's not arrogance. That's alignment. Because a mind in alignment moves mountains others can't even see. This is how revolutions begin. Not with loud noise, but with silent resolve. With a whisper that says, I will not die with my potential still buried inside me. Because deep down, you know it. There's something in you this world hasn't seen yet. And the only way to unlock it is to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start being the person who creates moments. So, before the day drags you into its chaos, you speak order into your soul. Before doubt creeps in through cracks, you seal it with declarations. Say this, I am not overwhelmed. I am organizing. I am not lost. I am exploring. I am not behind. I am building momentum. Reframe, reinvent, rewrite the internal script, because your reality is a mirror of your most repeated thoughts. And your mornings, they are the furnace that forges those thoughts into gold or rust. You choose. Do you feed your future with intentional words? Or do you let default programming steal your destiny? You want transformation. It begins with command, not external command, but internal. So each morning, stand tall, not just physically, but mentally. Say this with fire. I take responsibility for everything in my life, not as guilt, but as power. If I created it, I can change it. If I allowed it, I can stop it. If I desire it, I can attract it. That's the language of transformation. Because responsibility is not a burden. It is liberation. The moment you stop blaming the market, your past, your upbringing, your boss, is the moment you finally reclaim your life. That's when shift happens. That's when doors open. That's when mountains move. But you must declare it before you see it, because the subconscious doesn't follow results. It follows instruction. Feed it with precision. Feed it with power. Say this, my thoughts are not random. They are seeds. And today, I plant only what I wish to harvest. Because faith is not just believing in things unseen. It's speaking them before they exist, and acting as if they already do. This is what Hill meant when he said, faith is the head chemist of the mind. Mix it with your desire, your definiteness of purpose, and your vision becomes inevitable. Not maybe, inevitable. Say this every morning. I will not live another day on autopilot. I will not numb myself with distractions. I will not abandon my calling to fit in. I am here to make waves, not wait for tides. And as your feet hit the ground, know this. You've already won. Not because the day will be perfect, but because you decided to meet it on your terms. This is not just a routine. It's a resurrection. The daily resurrection of the part of you that refuses to die quiet, the part that roars louder than fear, the part that builds, that speaks, that acts. You are no longer the person who doubts their power. You are no longer the one who shrinks when they should stand. You are no longer at war with your greatness. You've remembered who you are. And once you remember, you can never return to being asleep. Because now, you don't just say it, you live it. This is no longer theory. It's identity. You don't rise to survive. You rise to conquer. You don't speak to impress. You speak to transform. And in case the world tries to remind you of who you were, you remind it of who you are now. Say it once more, louder this time, like the heavens are listening. I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. I am not here to fit in. I am here to lead. I do not fear failure. I forge it into fuel. You don't need the world's permission to be great. The moment you woke up and chose growth over comfort, you stepped into rare air. And the air up here is thin. It's not for everyone, but it's where giants breathe, where legends are born, where your name echoes in rooms your feet haven't touched yet, because your actions whispered to destiny long before it arrived. You may not have the applause today. You may not have the spotlight. You may not have the crowd chanting your name. But hear this. Mountains do not applaud the sunrise. They are simply moved by its consistency. And if you keep rising, with truth on your tongue, with fire in your spine, with vision behind your eyes, the world will have no choice but to adjust to the new frequency you emit. Say this every morning. I do not need easy. I am built for effort. I do not seek comfort. I seek growth. I do not wait for signs. I become the sign. This is how movements begin. This is how families are changed. This is how legacies are written, not in ink, but in impact. Because every great soul who ever walked this earth, from Hill to Lincoln, from Edison to Earhart, from Ford to Franklin, they didn't wait for the world to hand them a path. They forged it with thought, with words, with persistence, and with a relentless refusal to stay small. And now it's your turn. You are no different. You are no less capable. You are no less chosen. The only difference between them and the average was the daily decision to speak life, to move when tired, to believe when it made no sense, to rise before the world demanded it. So now, as you face the day, as the world begins to stir, as the noise returns, stand taller, breathe deeper. Remember who the hell you are. You are not the mistake you made. You are not the doubt you carry. You are not the voice that told you you can't. You are the storm that silence fears. You are the calm in the chaos. You are the answer to someone's prayer. And the moment you decided to command your morning, you started rewriting your future. So say it one last time. Not just with your mouth, but with your eyes, your steps, your hands, your decisions. I am the author of my life. Today, I write a chapter the world will never forget. I rise with purpose, I walk with power, and I end this day with no regret. Now go, make your life louder than your words, make your results your roar, and let this morning be the day everything began to change.